You don't realize that you're going to the liquor store after work. Your family's waiting for you at home. Why would you stop there first? What's so bad at home?
When I first got into this work, my why, honestly, was like, I do not want men to go toward the depths of hell. I mean, I was so close to killing myself. And while today I still feel that way, I don't want anyone to go to the level of pain or darkness that I went to. But what I found out really quickly is like, we can't avoid that, the dark.
When you keep saying the word awareness, it hits me home because that's the program. We're unaware. When I start getting these guys aware of what they're doing, hey, your wife's leaving you because you're a turd. You're a piece of shit. You're lucky she stayed with you this long.
Well, welcome to the Burn Up Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Nugent. I'm excited about this episode today. I've got Jeff Richins with me with Heroes Coaching. For those of you that have been following me quite a while, I talk frequently about addiction and how it affects so many people and the different variations of it. And I have a real soft spot because of when I've gone through very painful moments in my life. And in many ways throughout my life, I've had addictions to certain things. Addiction's rooted in avoidance. And Jeff's got a wild story and we're going to get into it and the work that he's doing. And I'm hopeful that you can find something in this message today that you can connect with, because my belief is, I didn't even say this before we started talking, Jeff, but I believe all of us in one degree or another are an addict. We have some sort of an addiction, something that we turn to numb, to not feel. And it's just having the awareness around it and not judging it. And no matter where you are, if you happen to be stuck in an addictive cycle with either substance or behaviors, know that you can get out. I promise you can get out. And, Jeff, thank you for being here today with me on the Burn Up Podcast. We connected here on social some time ago. And just before we started to record this, kind of tell me a little about your story, but let's dig into where this began, because it sounds like you were pretty strung out for was it 17 years?
Yeah, I started pretty young, 1990, dabbling with marijuana. Started the startup drug with some beer and weed, and tried crack cocaine and ended up doing methamphetamine till 2007 every day. Unless I was incarcerated. Yeah. Okay. Which was quite a bit, but not enough.
So when you ended up going jail, prison, multiple times or?
Oh, I went to jail a lot of times. Yeah. The book probably 100 times.
Really? Mm-hmm. What was your longest stint?
In jail was 1 year in jail.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
So obviously multiple times. What ultimately led to your okay, enough is enough?
I feel like locked up in federal prison was a good one for me. It was like no visits all the way in Florence, Colorado. Statistics say 35 for men is the number, and that's how old I was. 35 years old is the magic number for men, and that's holding true pretty much with the people I've been coaching.
Okay.
But for me, it was like federal prison. I just got tired of the old saying, sick and tired of being sick and tired. Starting over, having nothing, having the police take everything when they come get you, just over and over the cycle of repeat over and over and over of losing everything. And then I think I'd had a spiritual awakening there, came clean, took some accountability with my mother, some things I did to her, broke into her house and stole her lawnmower and just crazy things that we do to, when we're in that survival mode of drugs.
Yeah, it's wild. It's like you're not even yourself when you're in those moments.
No, not even close. You don't even know who yourself is. I didn't. I started so young. I was so confused on.
Well, we were talking earlier. You said part of your identity was the guy. Like, I'm the guy that can hook you up. I'm the guy that can get you that. Right. You almost wore that as a badge of honor.
Right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was the hookup for that. Weed, meth, I could get it, and that's where I felt like like you said, I was the guy that could score, and it made me feel important. It made me feel needed at the time, and it just turned into being a homewrecker. Honestly, I just destroyed everything. I was a monster.
I'm curious about your spiritual awakening, right? Because I believe, today I'm more spiritual, if you will, than I've ever been in my entire life. I'm not connected with any. I was raised Mormon. I'm not, I don't connect with Mormonism or any organized religion at all. But I truly believe the deepest levels of spirituality, that light, if you will, is actually found in the dark. It's the pressure that creates these experiences to where it gets, they say, get on, coming to a Jesus moment or getting on your knees or whatever. It's like you get to that final moment where all of a sudden you have nothing left to give. Like you're fighting, and it's a process of surrender. But you said something to me. I think one of the ultimate ways to really help get there even quicker is it's not only the difficulties that we create in our life, because we're the authors, the creators. We've made decisions that led us to wherever we led us. But I found in my spiritual awakening, if you will, and the depths of it have come through something you said a minute ago. It's taking radical accountability for the role you played.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Right. So it's interesting. I don't find it, I don't believe in coincidences, but the fact that you said, I had my spiritual awakening and I took accountability. I mean, you said it right after the fact.
Yeah, no, that's it. Like I was locked down. I kept seeing the Bible was in the room where I was locked up in the cell, and I kept feeling this. So I opened it up, and it opened up to Proverbs, and I asked myself, I said, what do you do with this proverb? He said, you read it for the days. And I looked at the date, and it was a proverb that said, exactly that: taking accountability, the truth will set you free. And I hadn't told my mom. I hadn't said anything about taking the lawnmower, and I was just like, oh, I need to call her. Read the proverb, got on the phone, told her, hey, Mom, you better sit down. I got to tell you something. And she's like, oh. And I'm like, okay. And so I go, are you sitting down? She goes, yeah. And I go, the lawnmower? I took that. And she's like, well, we knew that. And I was like, oh, and she was, after I stole that lawnmower, it's crazy. I disappeared for 3 years. I didn't see her. I didn't call her. I was gone. That was the part that just sent me over the edge. I knew it was wrong. I started my own business with it, tweaker lawn mowing.
It was called tweaker lawn mowing?
Oh yeah, I was out mowing lawns. I'd sell
high as a kite while you're mowing the lawn?
Oh yeah, I'd sell it to one of the dope dealers and then steal it back. I stole that thing 28 times, man.
No way.
I did. It was crazy. Yeah, and then so when I told her that, she screamed, we got him back. He's back. And I felt this. Here's the spiritual part. Like the weight of the world lifted off my shoulders. Something so simple. That's what I want people to know. Is like just that little that you think is so awful, and that little dirty secret that can set you free.
Oh, you are. This is the root of the work that I do with men, because I've seen it in my own life. It's, I believe we can do anything. We can be whoever we want. We can do whatever we want. But what is required is that we as men and women, but especially as men, is like that we have a strong foundation as who we are as men. And anytime we have a little white lie, a little secret, a little something, that forms a crack. And I believe everything is in one form or another is connected from an energetic perspective. And that little crack, it's like, oh, it's no big deal. Nobody's going to know. Well, God knows. It's there, and it's always hovering in the back, right?
Always.
They're going to find, right? And so then it's the shame and guilt associated with whatever that crack is. And so then there's this repeated pattern of behavior, or maybe there's new cracks, and all of a sudden these cracks get a little bit bigger, get a little bit bigger, get a little bit bigger. And before you know it, like everything can come crashing down. Oh, yeah. Right? Which, if you go back to the beginning of it, started with this little white lie, or this little thing. And you just said something too, because we have these stories and these attachments, and I have this whole thing around lying, because there's been seasons in my life where I've lied a lot, and there's been seasons where I've been out of integrity. And like, to me, like my core value today is integrity. I want my words and actions to be aligned. Like, it's so important to me. And it's not for anyone else other than me, because I want peace, and the fact that you said like 3 years you didn't talk to your mom, and yeah, you might've been strung out during that whole time, which just intensified that, but I don't want to speak for you, but what's coming to mind was the shame and guilt.
Oh, 100%.
That you did that. Yeah. And you couldn't even face yourself, let alone her.
Yeah. And the silly thing, the mower was like 20 years old. It was 20 years old. They thanked me. He got a new mower, and so that for me, that was the comedian part of it. The comic part of it was they needed a new one anyway, and I could have probably just asked for it if I needed it. But that sneaky, that selfish, that part of me that just needed to get high took over and would do anything to get high. That's where I was in my life. Anything.
Yeah. I mean, we could spend hours talking about this, because I'm just so passionate, because I've seen it in my own life and I see it in the life of others. And you said something too. It's like, I didn't even know that was a scripture. I mean, I'm not a scriptorian, but it's like in that Proverbs, it actually says the truth will set you free.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and it does.
It does.
But the hardest person we ever face or will face or have ever faced is ourselves. Yes. Right? So it's one thing to like, to betray or not tell the truth to other people. It's like when you're standing in front of the mirror, and to be able to look at like, what, I did this, and just take radical accountability for it is so painful. But when you finally get to that place, this is the beauty of like, of pain, of the hardship. Sometimes it has to get so bad to where you have nothing left to give. And then you just finally speak it. And then more often than not, the freedom, the weight, I mean, think of that. 3 years you carried that. Yeah. And then you go to speak it and they're like, well, we knew.
Yeah.
I mean, 3 years of, think about like how much hell those 3 years caused. I mean, just from that one point when you went to do it, it was like, it wasn't as bad as I thought. It was like no big deal.
Yeah. She said, we got him back. He's back. She knew that if I could come clean with that, I could handle, come clean with everything. And there was a lot of stuff, when we're out there being monsters and doing what we got to do, I call myself a monster because that's the truth. I'm big on, like you, 100% integrity. I don't lie. I don't cheat. I don't steal. That's sobriety. That's looking in the mirror every day. And in our program, we do mirror work. And it's a process to even start to like yourself in the mirror. Uh-huh. And so giving yourself a high five or looking at yourself and saying, hey, I'm worthy today is huge. So if anybody's out there and hears this, start there. If the mirror is something you can't stand right now, try loving yourself enough to just liking yourself enough to look in the mirror.
Yeah. I was the same. I hated how I hated everything about, and my story for a long time was like, I tied my worth and identity. Well, it was tied to everybody else, but it was rooted in how much money I made.
Yeah.
And so the rest of my life was, at one point I weighed 350 pounds. I was morbidly obese. My marriage was falling apart, all these different other areas. And I tried to fill those voids with money.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like I hated myself. And if somebody gave me a attaboy or pat on the back, that just fueled me. And I had the savior-like complex and just throwing money at everywhere. But the truth was, I was doing it for me. I mean, yes, I was helping people. I have a big heart, but like the why behind it was really rooted in an insecurity. It's like, who would I be without this? Right. Who would I be without this? And then when I ended up losing everything and having to start over, then I'm sitting there like, who the hell am I?
100%. And you said at the beginning of the podcast, there's all sorts of addictions, and money is on the top 6 for me. In my drugs, money, pills, porn. It's
business,
there.
Everything.
It's there. Too much work. The gym could be one. I mean, if you're, you're not watching your nutrition, it could be that. It could be, just really obsessing on things is an addiction. It really is.
And I think obsession, if it's channeled correctly, can be a superpower.
Sure.
To me, I think we talked about it before we started. To me, it's my litmus test for me is if I'm going to something or doing something to numb or to not feel. Then it's like, and I've done enough work personally that I recognize it mostly. Mm-hmm. For most of my life, my drug was food, like food and sugar and I'm healthier than I've ever been. I'm training for this physique show coming up here in a couple months.
You look amazing.
Yeah. I mean, to go from, 350 pounds to shredded on stage, and a lot of people would say that, but what's even today, if I get triggered today, I want to eat.
Yeah.
It's fascinating. And the new thing, my new awareness is like when I'm tired, I want food to comfort me.
Well, sure.
And I'm grateful that it's not turning to porn or like drinking or other things where there's been seasons in my life where I've turned to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But like even today, it's still there.
Yeah.
And 9.9 times out of 10, I don't give in. And what I've found is that if we can just allow ourselves to sit in the uncomfortableness,
right.
Just sit in it, the universe will move it.
I call that the uncomfortable hell.
Yeah.
It chooses for us. But if we're not aware of it, and that's what the program's about, is the uncomfortable hell rules us. But because the unknown future is scary, right? The unknown, where we're going, where we can go.
Our unconscious hates uncertainty.
Yeah.
People in general hate uncertainty.
Yeah. So the comfortable hell is that's where I want to say, I hate to say numbers, but 98% of us live there. Food, porn, and just even
whatever.
Relationships, communication. It's just
gossip, social media. Something.
Whatever. It just picks for us. That's what we do. We're programmed. We program ourselves. And it's when you keep saying the word awareness, it hits me home because that's the program. We're unaware. When I start getting these guys aware of what they're doing, hey, do you realize what your wife's leaving you because you're a turd. You're a piece of shit. You're lucky she stayed with you this long. And they're like, oh, and then they snap, and then I kind of snap them out of it a little bit.
I don't know if you saw, I did a post literally last week around awareness, and we can't, if we're not aware,
right.
We can't change anything.
Right. 100%.
It's this whole sheep, it's like so much of what we do, we're just like unconsciously making decisions, the same decisions, and And I even shared this in the post. It's like when awareness shows up and it can hit us like a ton of bricks. It could be, the example I gave, like, you're married and your wife finally has been saying the same thing for years and it finally hits one day, or you react to your kid and your kid's looks like he's scared. It's that moment. It's like, oh my gosh, I've been doing this entire time, or whatever happens to be. But like, there's so much mindlessness. I mean, we're all guilty of it.
100%.
But you can't change more. And that's the work, that I do, that you do. And it's like, and it's helping bring awareness. And just like, and I've had this multiple experience. When you reflect it to somebody, a lot of people have a hard time. It's like, because their identity's tied to it. It's like, that's not me. That's someone else. And it's so easy to point the finger. I
always say what we're unconscious of rules us.
Oh yeah.
100%. Like it. And I say that, I repeat that when I'm doing like a first session with people, what you're unconscious of rules you, to the point of self-destruction. I mean, you don't realize that you're choosing that comfortable hell every time. You go in the liquor store after work, your family's waiting for you at home. Why would you stop there first? What's so bad at home? Where is that? What part of you has to get a drink when he gets home? See, I don't understand that anymore because I've been sober for 18 years. I got a new start. I got 2 kids under 4 right now.
Yeah, but you can connect in people's stories because you've experienced it.
Yeah, and not that I've forgotten, but I feel for them even more now. Like, how could you? And so I'm a little harder on people than I probably should be when I'm coaching. Like I really am a truth hurts coach.
Okay, so I'm curious. So I saw a video the other day because when I was going through my own hell, I had my coach who I was working with. My big thing was, again, what everybody thought, right? And one day we were on a session and I'm like, I wish I didn't care I wish I didn't care what people thought about me.
Right.
I'm like, I'm so sick of it. He goes, no, you don't. He goes, if you were that guy, you'd be a raging narcissist. It's not who you are. The place is to get to where, yes, I care what other people think, but not more than what I think about, myself. And as we had these conversations, he's talking me through this. And then there was a moment later, he goes, the only thing you're going to get out of this is wisdom. And I was so pissed. I go, wisdom? That's it? Just wisdom?
Yeah.
But wisdom's priceless. But there's another thing that came with it, and it was empathy. But you just said something. I saw a video the other day where the woman was speaking and she goes, they say that once you go through something really difficult and challenging, you garner empathy for other people that have gone through it, which is true. But then what she said is, but then also when you see people that are so stuck, when it's so clear in some ways because you've been there and you know what to do and they won't do it, you actually have less empathy for them. And that's what I hear you saying, right? And I'd never heard that before. And so ever since I've seen that, I've been sitting with that and I'm realizing that I can, people that I'm working with or people I can see their pain, I can see their patterns, and it's actually annoying.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I'm like annoyed by it. It's like when you present it to them and then they're just stuck. And so, yes, there's an empathy, but I'm actually finding there's a little bit of that in me right now too. And you just said it. It's like, nah, man, I'm just like, this is what it is.
Yeah. Truth hurts coaching.
Yeah.
That's what it was going to be called because, there's nothing. I've had guys come in, just not to get off the subject, but just come in and do a consultation. And I've hit them so hard that they didn't have to come back. They never came back. They're still sober over a year. He's like, dude, you fixed me on one session. I'm like, oops, I guess I ain't getting paid for this one. But seriously, like the truth about what he's doing, how he's treating his wife, and what dragging her into the drugs and drinking and all that. I called him out, big old biker guy. I'm like, dude, you're a turd. You're a piece of shit. You don't deserve to be sitting in that same house with her. You're pushing her on the cocaine and the drinking and all the things. And he was like,
so why would you take 2 guys, right? Let's say you have 2 pieces of shit, 2 assholes doing, let's say, similar things.
Yeah.
One guy can hear it and be like, oh, wake him up. Another guy, I'm sure you've had people that have come right back at you from a defensive perspective and like mad that you're pointing things out.
Yeah.
And they can't handle it.
Yeah. They try to intellectualize it.
Yeah.
They're trying to
or rationalize it or it's like, well, because of this and versus just like, no, man, this is on you.
Yeah. And that could be because one guy's jumping through the hoops and he doesn't want to be in front of me, or he doesn't want it, but he's been forced to, or the wife says, oh, you need to get help, or he's coming in and he's closed-minded, closed heart. You have to have an open heart.
I'm sure you've had clients that have come in that it's like the wife has said, hey, my wife says I need to be here. My wife, like,
100%.
What's the success rate of those guys when it's their spouse that gets them versus they're the ones that make the decision?
Zero.
Okay, ladies, because I get women that message me all the time. Will you work with my husband? Will you work at this? When I first started doing this, I'd reach out to them. Nothing.
Yeah.
And no man, it's in some ways it's emasculating to a dude that his wife says, you need to go talk to somebody versus this, but the men that do it because of their wife said they need to or want to, that is fascinating. You've had 0% success rate. And every person that I've reached out to their wife, I've had zero saying like no one has consciously made a choice. And I look at this as a man. It's like, dude, you're not even a real man if you're here because your wife says it. Like, come on, man the fuck up.
Right. 100%. 100%. Well, they're unaware, or they don't care. They're so selfish and it's a man's, I hate to say it, but it's not 1950s anymore. And for me, I want to make sure, and this is what I've learned over the years, that my wife has her identity and feelings are met and the relationship is clean, right? And it's fair. But guys that are the breadwinners, let's say they're running the show, mom, she's a stay-at-home mom, man, they just don't, they're just not in it for them anymore. It's pretty sad. I've seen a lot of that. Going.
So, what's interesting is, for certain men, because do you work with women as well, or is it mostly men?
I was working with women. We don't work with women.
Okay.
It's men on men.
So, and my content's directed towards men, so we'll keep it there. But and a lot of women listen to this. But when I first got into this work, my why honestly was like, I do not want men to go to the depths of hell. I mean, I was so close to killing myself. And while today I still feel that way, I don't want anyone to go to the level of pain or darkness that I went to. But what I found out really quickly is like, we can't avoid that, the dark, and I feel like your role, my role, and the people that we're working with is because the answers that they're searching for are there, because that's why they're stuck, or we get stuck into addictive patterns, because we don't want to face what's down there, right? The lies, the cheating, the betrayals, the secrets, and all of that. And in order to actually let go of that, if you will, or to heal it, you got to face it, and which will take you many times down a darker path until you finally able to release it. And it's fascinating. I mean, it's all unavoidable. Yeah. But yet what I found is like, you got to help. I believe what we have to do is like, listen, we've been there. So we know this. Like, the only way you can know something is if you've experienced it. Otherwise, it's just an opinion or a belief. Right. But when you know that, you can connect with it. But it's like, no, the answers are there. And I say this all the time. The light that we're searching for is actually found in the dark. Now, how deep you go into that is really ultimately up to you. Right. But sometimes it has to get so bad. A full stint in federal prison. You went over 100 times. Like, it wasn't bad enough. Yeah. No, it wasn't until it was. It wasn't until it was. And then we call that feel it to heal it. I call that feel it to heal it. Same thing, right? So, guys out there, if you're on this podcast and I call it unfinished business. If you have unfinished business, start with one thing. Yep. And free yourself. It moves the needle. It really does. It moves the needle. Even one little story that you keep having to hide, or you're avoiding, the truth will set you free, and people will understand where you're coming from. I always take your mess and turn it into a message. Yeah. That's what we're here for. Well, honestly. But the truth is everybody has something. And I say this all the time. You walk into a business networking event, right? Everybody's walking. You got the guy walking around. Who's got the biggest dick? Who's driving the nicest car? Who's done this? Who's done this? It's all a facade. Not all, but mostly. Yeah. And it's like, well, that guy's cheating on his wife. That guy's close to bankruptcy. That guy's this and this and this and this. And it's like, we're all so scared to say that, because who would I be if I actually told the truth? If I actually accepted, responsibility for the decisions I made? And the reality is, the minute you speak it, yes, it's painful, but you're free. And it is I'm proud to say today that I can walk into a room and people might talk about me or say things, but there is nothing that they have on me that I have not spoken to publicly, most of it, that I have not taken accountability for. Yeah. And that is a freedom I didn't know. I mean, painful. It's beautiful though. Painful. Yeah. But it is priceless. Yeah. It to be completely free. And then to also learn that it's like, I've done a lot of fucked up things in my life, but it's not who I am. It's what I did. Right. It's like in separating our identity from things that we've done, because nobody's perfect, And again, the problem, and I say this all the time, the longer you go without taking ownership and accountability, no matter how small it is, you are prolonging pain, and the destruction is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger until you speak it.
Yeah. You're just stuck. You're just stuck. That's who I help. I help stuck people, stuck men that need a little boost, that need to have some unfinished business.
So you said something before we got started, like, so some of the people that you work with have gone through an AA program or something, right? And they've been sober, so they've stayed clean.
Yeah.
But what is that stuck? Help our listeners understand what that means. Someone's 3 or 4 years into sobriety and they're stuck. What does that look like?
They get tired of the meetings, the drama. They're not growing at work, and they want to try something new and are fearful.
Try something new, like
new job or
yeah.
new. They just stay in this comfortable hell that they've chosen, which is okay. Sobriety is good, but when you really get, I push them into recovery, because sobriety is different than recovery, right? Recovery is when you start to get things back. Sobriety is when you just stay sober, which is great. That's but you want to recover first. If you lost a wife and kids and jobs and money and things, that you can get all that back in recovery. That's what recovery is for me.
How many people that come in still have this real strong identity? They might have been sober for years, but I'm still an alcoholic. I'm still a drug addict. I'm still this. They still see themselves that way.
They still see themselves that way. That's the mentality of AA. Introducing yourself as alcoholic or a drug addict, which is great for them. Whatever they have to do to get that, because of course that's taking accountability at first. It's true at first, but when you get some time under your belt, I don't say I'm Jeff, I'm an alcoholic anymore. I say I'm Jeff, I'm a hero, because I've fought my way through. I've earned that, and my identity, my parts don't want me to say. I don't say it because I'm not. I could forget all about everything tomorrow and not help one single soul and live my life the way I have been, right? But part of me wants to help and will always want to help men like you understand themselves and move forward through the pain and suffering. I feel like my mom's story is this. She said when we were in heaven, she said, when God asked who wants to suffer, I raised my hand and said, I'll do it. And I was sent down here to be a hero, and a hero goes out and learns and comes back and teaches and helps. That's what a hero does. And so that's where heroes came from. And that's why I think my identity's from, is actually,
which I love that. And I'm like, be your own hero. Like
yeah.
I'm proud of the work that I've done, and it has not been easy. And I believe that the only difference between somebody that's made it and hasn't made it, whatever that is to you, is that the person that's made it has been willing to do something that you haven't. There's an asterisk right there, up to this point. I mean, you can do anything, and it's mindset. There's so much that gets that plays into that. And to me, what I found, the core of it, everything's rooted in a story, our identity,
sure.
And we're the authors of our life. And I found that, we have we talked about this earlier, these programs that are constantly running, right? A lot of this we didn't even choose. It's how we were raised, different things, and then behaviors and but then all of a sudden when you're aware, right? Yeah. It takes awareness. It's like, am I that guy? I mean, I've been telling myself that for 40 plus years. Yeah. What if I told a different story?
Yeah.
Is it really that simple?
Well, is it working for me?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it working for me? That's one of the questions I always ask them. How's this been working? What's your, what success have you had being this person? And most of the people I work with have no idea who they are. Yep. Period.
I don't think most people. I don't think most people do.
And you said something about just a minute ago about who makes it, and I feel like you never make it. Is because the minute you think you're there.
Oh yeah, no, then you're not. Then you're fair, not.
Right,
fair,
100%.
And I appreciate you sharing that because there's levels to it.
Sure,
like, there's levels to the game.
Health, fitness, wealth,
whatever. Yeah.
No
one ever fully arrives. No one ever fully makes it. And if we get into the head, the ego, the universe will check us in 2 seconds and remind us that we haven't made it. So I appreciate the clarity. Yeah. I'm actually going to check myself next time I say that, because I say that all the time. But it's, one of the questions I'll ask somebody when I'm first working with them, I'm like, who are you? And it's fascinating that half the men will tell me what they're not. Or I'm not enough this. Well, I'm not this. I had one guy literally, we listed 30 things down. 28 of them were negative. Yeah. And the other thing, they're just basic standard answers. It's like, well, I'm a dad. I'm I'm a husband, I'm a provider. And I'm just like, dude, that's the energy of how you see you. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, I use this example for like, if you're as a father, like if, everybody has different priorities that they matter. So if, some men will say like, my number one priority is my kids, and then so I'm like, well, who are you? It's like, well, I'm a father. I'm like, what if you started telling yourself, I'm the greatest fucking father on the planet. I'm the greatest. But like, who's to tell you otherwise?
Yeah. No,
who's to tell you otherwise? And what if you just kept telling yourself that over and over and over and over again, and you convince yourself that you're the greatest fucking dad on the planet?
Change your identity.
Yeah. And so when you've rewritten that story, and then you come home from a busy day, a stressful day at work, and you kick your feet up, and right when you kick your feet up, you're like, you just want to take a load off for a minute. Your 3-year-old son comes over and says, Daddy, I want to play with you. It's the last thing you want to do. You're tired. You've had a stressful day. A father will just say, I'll talk to you in a minute, but the greatest fucking dad in the world is going to get up and play with this kid.
Amen. That's me. I got 2 kids under 4, man.
So
53.
Like, I'm so grateful I'm not in that season, but like, good luck. Like, I've been there.
I'm killing it.
Yeah.
This reminds me of something that with the program, if you don't mind, I'm going to talk about. So we do the 3 R's, and that's your nervous system, right? So we regulate the present, we resolve the past, and we renew the future. And when I have the guys do the program, when we do a future and a past, so I have them write down what happens in 5 years if you drink, and they can tell me that in 30 seconds. But when it comes to renewing their future, they can't. They'll go home. They won't do the homework. To think past the day, they can't do it. They can't even tell me where they'd like to be in 5 years. Crazy how that works. So I get to coach them on that a little bit, teach them about manifestation, how that looks, how it feels, because here's what happens. We're so programmed to live one day at a time that we don't know how to dream. We don't know who we are first, and we don't know. So I have them write down, where would you like to be in 5 years? And go ahead and dream a little. What kind of job, what kind of relationship, what kind of car do you want to drive? They have nothing. They're riding the bus. But I'm still want them to manifest and put down on paper where they are. So when we're going through the program, they can reread their future self. And it's huge. And once I can get them to do it, but if they can do a 5 year if they drink again, and you can't die. That's what I tell them. Write that out, 5 years, but you can't die. And they're like, oh, that come back, homework's done. Renew the future, nothing. And that's one thing I don't think that as men that we think about at all. We're grinding, right? The people we're working hard. We're taking care of our family. But how do we want to look? How do we want to feel in 6 months? Right? I hate to say this, but we're happy and fat. That's what my brother calls it. Like, dude, can I help you? You have to he's wearing Crocs because he can't tie his shoes. I said, bro, you don't have to be in Crocs. All you got to do is just call me in the morning, every morning. Let's talk this through. He won't do it. They don't see themselves worthy of any future. And that's a lot of us.
No, it's worth. I've questioned my worth. That is the one thing that I had. That story is nipped. Like, I don't question my worth at all. And this is coming from someone that questioned their worth for most of their life. But like in the last 2 to 3 years, that story's gone. It is gone. It's taken a lot of work, a lot of identity work. But I have found that, you could have a guy that's crushing in his business, making a ton of money. Mm-hmm. And if his marriage happens to be off or something's off, there's a part of him, unconsciously deeply rooted that he doesn't feel worthy of love. Or someone that hasn't made the money or struggling financially, there's a part of them that doesn't feel worthy of success. And I tell people, I shout it from the rooftops, like, you are worthy of anything and everything you want, period. Worth should never be in question. Yeah. Ever. Yeah. Now you got to earn it.
Take accountability.
You got to take accountability. You got to earn it. You got to do the work.
If your marriage sucks, you're working too much. If you got too much money and you're not, and your marriage sucks, get your pillars. I call them the pillars, the 4 pillars, right? Health, wealth. And if you're lacking in one pillar, your business,
it'll affect the other parts.
Right. But for me, it's the health pillar, because when I'm healthy, that means I can carry everything else and level it up and be aware of, and we say that word a lot, be aware of, oh, I'm lacking here. Oh yeah, what's wrong? Well, I'm not feeling good. I haven't been hitting the gym. I've been not being honest with myself about stuff, impeccable to my word. I'm going to go to the gym, then I don't go. That stuff starts to wear you down, especially, and if you can't, and if I was out there and I was hearing this podcast and there was one thing I would do, I would say, keep the promises that you make yourself.
Yep. It's integrity.
Keep to yourself, because if you can't keep that promise, just like the New Year's guys at the gym, my wife's like, oh, you should see all the people at the gym. I said, babe, 30 days to the day, ghost town at the gym. I'm like, and I don't want that. Like, I'm in there trying to help
I wish
people.
my gym was a ghost town. It's too busy. Like, I keep waiting for them to drop off and they keep showing up. But I hear you. I was that same guy for years.
Sure. But the reason is we over expect from ourselves, expectations. Oh, I'm going to go to the gym for an hour. I'm going to do this. You do that. And then tomorrow you don't go. So how about walking in the gym, walking on a treadmill for 10 minutes, saying hi to somebody and leaving, and come back tomorrow and do the same thing. And then pretty soon you're there 30 minutes. You don't even realize it. 30 minutes. Hi, good morning.
Yeah, because the root of confidence is rooted in keeping the commitments you make with yourself, whether you speak it or not. Yeah. You know, and that's how you build confidence. And it's like, it's little base hits, and then you get the momentum, because you know, motivation's fleeting.
Yeah.
And so, but like, you create it, you embody it, it becomes who you are. You know, it's interesting. I've been thinking about what you said earlier, as far as these men that you've worked with. A lot of these guys can't even see what 5 years looks like from a vision. You know, it's interesting. My experience is I work with a lot of guys that have big dreams, big goals, big aspirations. So, you know, again, I agree with that. Like, lock that in, manifest. I mean, you got to be that, you got to tap into that energy today, but it still requires action.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And many times what I've found is it's like, yeah, I want to do this, I want to do that. I'm like, great, that's awesome. Whatever you want to do. Now, how are we going to do that? So then what I've done is we reverse engineer, and you got to create an action plan to get there, because ultimately what we have is today. What can I do today to move the needle? And it's fascinating when you start reverse engineering to whatever somebody has to do, what it actually takes to get what they want. A lot of them are too overwhelmed by it, so they never start. And then what happens is they want this, they talk about it, but they're not willing to do it because of fear and all sorts of other things that do that. And then what happens with men, I think a big part of addiction that kicks into men, especially later on in their life, that maybe, you know, didn't go through what you did, but, you know, with me and other people, is it's the guilt and shame, knowing internally that they're not reaching their potential or what is possible. And it's the gap between where they currently are and where they want to be. And they see that as this negative thing. And the pain of that can be so intense, depending upon how long this has gone, that they then turn to addictive substances and behaviors to numb out the pain of not, you know, doing what was necessary. And many times what's rooted below, they just don't feel like they're enough.
Right.
You know, which is interesting. You said something too. One of your R's is like regulate your nervous system. What does that look like?
So regulate your nervous system is so when you're able to connect, like we are.
Yeah.
Connection, love, you know, happiness, joyfulness, able to you know, not rage. So there's in the nervous system there's green, yellow, and red. So yellow is fight or flight, and then red's isolation. And when you're connected, you're in the green. And nobody ever stays in the green. It's a ladder. You move up and down. You know, you could be out driving on the road, somebody cut you off, and you're like, oh, you're right to fight or flight, right? So I keep 1 foot in the green and 1 foot in the yellow. Mostly, I don't really go to the red anymore, but I'm in fight or flight a lot. You know, I got a lot of things going. I'm doing 4 jobs and 2 kids under 4, and
yeah, you're busy.
I'm busy. So
how does someone? I mean, you said connecting, right? Like as we're doing. What advice? Because I mean, this is something big that I talk a lot about as well. So I'm curious. How does one, when they're by themselves, regulate?
I would say some breath work. Yeah, you know, if you're feeling dysregulated and your comfortable hell's knocking on the door, you know, say you're trying to lose weight and you don't want to eat, you know, and so say it out loud. Say it out loud. Say no, thank you. You know, we have parts in us like a family. We have uncles and brothers out here. We have parts in us. You know, the wounded child.
Yep.
Let's say. My biggest one is the inner critic. That's a big one. The inner critic will get you every time, right? Oh, I don't look good in this shirt. I look fat. Oh, I left the wallet home. I'm so dumb. You know, the way we talk to ourselves is very important. So if you're, you know, having a bad day, you know, make sure be kind to yourself, but take some breaths. You know, go do some gratitude. That always helps reconnect, right? Find something. All people, we live at the door of victim. Period. We never celebrate out loud. Hey, this is great. Wow. But we want this son of a bitch, this asshole. We live there instead of, oh my God. Somebody took my car, or somebody said good morning to me today. We don't live in those emotions. We live in at that front red door of victim. Everybody's an asshole. Everybody's after me. You know, the drivers, the people, just you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And that's the reality of it. So you'll never be in the green if you're not grateful for what's happened for you.
Well, it's our attachment to what is happening. Of course, we don't like it. We don't do this. And what I found for me, that I'm able to move through things, uncomfortable, painful, things I don't like, so much quicker when I just get to the place like it just is. Because I can't. I just accept just what is. I can't change this. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I'm pissed about this. And then again, what I found is accepting what is. And then to me, when I'm unsettled, if you were, my nervous system's dysregulated.
Yeah.
Then I turn to me. It's like, all right, what's the role that I played in this?
Oh, 100 more accountability.
You know, I had a. I might have even. I feel like I shared this recently, and I apologize if this was on the last podcast. But I had an experience. Was it last year sometime? A homeless person broke into my car and stole my AirPods. And you can track AirPods, right?
Yeah.
And so, in full disclosure, this was the third time my car had been broken into because I keep forgetting to lock the car. So I'm pissed, of course. And anyway, I pulled up. I'm like, oh, I can track this stuff. So oh my gosh, I can see where my AirPods are. So it's like 2 or 3 miles away from my house. I drive down there and I'm looking at her, and there's this woman over there, this homeless woman that's like curled up in the ball, and I can just see on my, and I push like to send the signal. I can hear the signal. And I'm just like, so I'm like, I don't know what this, I couldn't tell it was a woman at first. I'm like, I don't know what this is. So I call the cops. They're not showing up. And I'm like, I don't have time to wait for this. And I was just pissed. So I walk up there and she stands up and drugged out of her mind. Out of her mind. And it was such an interesting experience that like my anger and frustration, the violation that occurred, completely shifted to compassion, sympathy for this woman. And then as I sat there and I'm like, you know what? This isn't worth the whatever, the 200 or 300. I'm like, it just shifted. And then as I pulled away and I'm like, at the end of the day, this is my fault because I left my car unlocked. So I did a post about it because I felt, you know, and I just said, I literally said it in the caption. I'm like, at the end of the day, this is on me. And people were in my comments like, no, this is not on you. And they did this. And I'm like, at the end, I'm like, yes, I didn't have a welcome sign, or of course she played a role in it. But if I peel all the layers back and I get to the core, who is it ultimately on? It's on me.
Amen.
And to get to that place, it was freeing. And then I was just annoyed at myself. But guess what? Guess who has not left their car door unlocked since? Me.
Hey, you got any iPads out there?
So again, how do we learn? We learn through those situations, and then it's our attachment to it.
Yeah.
But it is so goddamn freeing when you can be like, you know what, this is just on me, and it doesn't mean I'm less than. It doesn't mean we're tied to it. It's just like, it doesn't even mean that I'm a dumbass. I just made a mistake. Yeah. And thank you for the lesson.
Yeah.
And you know, how many times in life do we keep getting the same lesson? I mean, I'm shocked. You went to jail 100 times. And it finally clicked. Yeah. Versus somebody else who goes one time, it's like, hell no, I'm done.
Yeah.
You know?
Or are they?
Well, maybe.
Right.
But up to that point. But whatever it happens to be, everybody's different.
Yeah.
You know, and even when I was at my heaviest weight, when I was 300, and I remember I had my rock bottom moment with my health. I was going through my divorce. Ex-wife called me, and you know, we're great now, but at the time tore into me. I don't even know what she said. And I went into a trance. Drug addict, zombie, eating whatever I could find in my house. That wasn't enough. I DoorDashed even more food and gorged myself. So numbing the pain. I don't remember what was said. And I remember sitting there finally, like, you know, that temporary relief, and then the feeling of it kicked in. And I just sat there and started bawling. And it was in that moment that the pain of where my current situation finally exceeded the pain of change. And that's when I moved. But if I could go back and talk to that guy the day before, that man the day before hated himself, would do anything. Well, he thought he would do anything to change. But the truth was not bad enough.
Right.
Not bad enough. It had to get that bad. So for some people, it's like, I put on 20 pounds. You know, it took me 130 pounds plus to finally like, come on, dude, wake the fuck up. You know, and everybody's different in that. And so that's the beauty of pain. That's the beauty of hard. And we get to choose what we do with it. And it's our attachment to it. And I have found that, like, again, this is when you've been there that many times. Like, again, I can't see you ever relapsing or ever going to that because you just know the pain. Like, there's certain boundaries, you know, so there's beauty that comes out of all the pain. And there's certain things that I will never do again. I don't care, because I will not feel what I felt that, you know, in that particular season of my life. But now when I'm in a painful situation or something's very uncomfortable, it sucks, but I don't sit in it very long and I just accept it. It still hurts. It just takes a little bit of the pressure off. And then my experience is, if I look back on every hard, challenging thing I've experienced in my life, there's been a gift or a blessing that's come on the other side 100%. Of it. 100% of the time.
Yeah.
So why would this time be any different? Yeah. There's plenty of evidence.
Yeah. Well, I tell my guys, when we're doing the program with that unfinished business and they're making amends, or in life, let's just say, I've been sober 16 years and had an uncle. I'm over 18 now, but I was 16 when this happened. And I was in the kitchen and it was Christmas time and had my little kids and my wife was right there. And I had an uncle that was drinking and he walked up behind me and I was talking to my wife and he said to me, "You were a real piece of shit." And
you were, or you are?
No, he said, "I was. You were a real piece of shit." And my skin, the hairs on my back. I mean, dude, I'm still a monster. Don't get me wrong. I'm still that monster, just sober. And the hairs on my neck stood up, my ears tingled, and I turned around and I said, "You're right. I sure was. But I'm not today. Good to see you, Uncle." And because I tell the guys, if there's one hair of truth and somebody comes at you, one hair, this much, own it. Yeah, you did it. Own it. Say, "Yep, I did that." Don't try to defend it, because as soon as you resist it, it persists.
100%.
As soon as you resist it, it persists. So, my guys, anybody out there, if there's one hair of truth to it, own it. It's freedom.
See, and the way I word that is, if someone says something to you and you have a reaction, no matter how small or large it is, you are actually connecting in with something that they said. And so I'm curious, you keep saying this, like, I'm a monster. What does that look like today when you say you're a monster?
For me, that just means that I'm dedicated to health, fitness, wealth, money. I'm trying to build a business. I'm trying to help people. Sober monster to me is somebody that just, I push myself to the extreme, like limits of goodness instead of the opposite.
Yeah, I love that, because again, the word monster can have a negative connotation associated with it, right? And I feel like, here's the truth. All of us have a monster inside of us. All of us have this serial killer inside of us. Everybody has the voice in our head. It's like what you do with it. And what I've found with men like you, myself, and other people, it's like when we've gone through some of that, it's like learning how to not react, right? Because you could have easily come right back at your uncle, and ripped his head off.
Oh,
right. Easy, physically, emotionally, mentally, whatever. Right. But to be able to tame that energy, because it's in you.
Oh yeah.
We all have that guy in it.
I work for that guy.
Yeah.
He's in there. My addiction's in there doing push-ups right now.
And so it's learning how to be able to tame it. And sometimes I'll share this, like, people say, "Well, what's your spirit animal," or whatever, right? And so I'll say, mine's a bear. Where it's like, I will cuddle on you. I will, you can lean up against me, but I will rip your fucking head off if you push me far enough.
Amen.
Do you know what I mean? But today, where I'm at today, before I would be so triggered and so reactive.
Fight or flight.
Yeah.
Constantly.
And now it's like to get me to that space. I don't allow most of it to happen, but when I get there, it's like, it's so much harder because I've learned how to work with it and love that
me too.
Side of it.
Love.
It's like,
you said it. Love. That's what I do. Even when I see somebody out there, hey, I come with love first. Somebody's having a bad day, they approach me, somebody's cussing and swearing. I'm just like, "Hey, it sounds like you're having a bad day. How can I help you?"
Yeah, because it's not personal.
I don't care. I don't take anything personal. Nothing.
You used to?
Oh, everything.
Yeah, same.
Everything. I used to take everything personal. I used to, that's just how it works.
And that's the beauty of confidence, because when you're confident in who you are as a man, you don't take and when that's my thing. That's my litmus test. If I respond to anything anybody says about me, or I hear something, if I have a reaction, then it's a sign to me. It's like, I'm still connecting. There's still part of my identity that's tied to whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, for example, if someone came up to me today and called me fat, it would go in one ear and out the other.
Yeah.
Like, okay. But if I was 10 pounds heavier, I still wouldn't be fat.
Yeah.
But if I was feeling a little uncomfortable in my body, it might sting a little bit because of where I'm currently at,
You say reaction, and that's part of the recovery. So recovery is how we react. That's recovery. Sobriety, you don't react. You're just like, "Oh my God," you're hurt. You get offended. Recovery is how we react to situations, how we compose ourselves, right? That's the whole gig. That's the deal. How am I going to react to, oh, my boss has yelled at me. I can't get a job. All the things that life throws at us. How do we react to it? Do we go to the liquor store? Do we get some dope? Is that going to fix it? No, that isn't going to fix it. What do? We just got to try again tomorrow.
Yeah.
We got to get up. We got to go. We got to fight. We got to figure out, we got to take accountability. How did I get in this situation and how can I fix it and do a better job next time?
So do you work with men that that currently, frankly, are not currently sober?
Or I have, and I will not.
Not today.
won't.
So you'll only work with men that have, for how long?
Detoxed program. I like to work with men that have a year of sobriety.
Okay. So for a man that has a year plus of sobriety,
Yeah.
would, kind of an ideal client for you would be that you feel like you could really help support is that guy that's been sober, but is it maybe necessarily living, right? What was the word you used earlier? It was like, I apologize. Start with an R. Why am I spacing it? You said sobriety plus is different than just
recovery.
Recovery. Sorry.
Yeah. So, somebody that's maybe been in that's showing some commitment to AA, that goes to AA, that can't get the spiritual connection, that the God thing doesn't work for them. Somebody like that just the room stopped working for them, and they're just white knuckling the sobriety now. I like them to have gone through the steps, the 12 steps to start. It's good, a good starting point. I've worked with them when they were 30 days sober, and it's just too much for me.
Yeah,
it's too much. There's too many stories. I don't have time for.
Which is good when you finally know. Even as I'm in this work, I keep refining my niche of who I want to work with. Yeah. I mean, I can help you, but I'm not interested in that. It's like when you get to this, then I can help you. Or I'm best suited for you here. Yeah. And I love that you speak that because anyone that's listening to this, I want to make sure that like people know who you are, the work that you do, and I've had a lot of people on this podcast in your space, and I love how the specificity because nobody has said really what you're saying is like, it's like no, I want to take sober guys and help them thrive. I want to take sober guys and really show them what recovery is.
Yeah, that's exactly it because that it just takes there's some work to be done before I'm willing. First of all, my family means the world to me. Time, kids, wife. To leave my home to come and sit with somebody that's 30 days, 60 days, 90 days that's being forced into it is a waste of my time. Yeah, honestly. And I'm not saying they can't be sober. And I'm giving you. I pray that you are and that you can do it. But when you reach that point where you're employed full time and everything's working and then I'm willing to sit down with you and design a life with you, for you.
And one of the greatest things you get with, we're both kind of in the coaching space is like, one of the greatest things that I found for all, the ridiculous amount of money I've spent over the years on coaches and consultants and different things. And it's like one of the biggest things you get is accountability, right? And somebody that's going to reflect back to you, and again, in the world of AI, you can go find all this information out, but then actually applying it and living it and having somebody right there, like hold your feet to the fire and pick up on all these different things. I mean, AI, it's like AI is going to side with you on whatever you want. AI will answer the questions however you want them to answer the questions.
Yeah. AI is not going to kick your ass like I will.
Yeah, exactly. Amen.
And I like to take the guys to the gym and do a couple workout sessions a week. So we do a session, an hour session with the program. Then we hit the gym.
Is it one-on-one or is it group coaching?
It's one-on-one.
Okay, awesome.
And I have some guys that come on the weekends, but usually when it's a session, it's me and them on the weekdays. So we'll do a Monday session and then Wednesday and Friday gym sessions with the program. So for me, the gym is it's my drug of choice.
Yeah, it's medicine.
I need people to understand that it's when we're not drinking, we need something to feel that. So endorphins, confidence, goals, losing weight, getting arms, seeing a difference because it's not just about being sober. There's so much more to sobriety than just not drinking.
Yep.
It's learning how to live, learning how to, finding who you are is the big thing. That finding who you are, because if you've been in that bottle, you have no clue. And when you get off the bottle, that's what that year will show you. Oh my God, you got to clean up some of that mess and get some of that life, and then you can come to me and I can say, hey, okay, let's lay this plan out. Where do you want to be in 5 years?
Yeah, I love that. Drink. So Jeff, where do our listeners, how do they get connected with you and how do they find you?
Heroescoaching.com. I'm on Facebook, Heroes Coaching or Jeff Richins. I have a Heroes Community Foundation website up right now. The Heroes Coaching is getting redone. New technology and stuff, adding a new business partner, my wife, to it.
Awesome.
Health and fitness. We're big on that. We want everybody to feel the reason why I do a lot of free coaching. Like, so we do supplements. I don't know if you've seen my thing. We do a GLP-1 drink.
Okay.
And an enzyme. It's a sugar enzyme, right? So instead of doing the shot, you do this drink. It's all natural GLP-1. But if they buy this stuff, I'm giving them like 4 sessions a month free of my time, coaching them, accountability, walking through them. Because I feel like my deal is I want everybody to win.
Yep.
I want everybody to win. Yeah, I'd make $7 if I sell you a drink. I don't give a shit about the $7. My wife does. She's my upline. So.
Yeah.
But me, I just want guys. Let's start winning. We're getting our asses kicked. I'm going to tell you this. I went to the mall, and every single guy in the mall looks the same. They got a belly. They don't give a shit. They're wearing Crocs. And we're losing.
Oh yeah.
We're losing.
Yeah. You're preaching to the choir, because that was me most of my life, and you cannot put a price tag on the confidence that comes when you are physically fit in your body. And money, you can no matter how much money you have or anything, it is affecting all the parts of your life. Mm-hmm. And the thing that I love the most about it, and yes, you've got GLP-1s, there's certain things that you can get to help, your hormones in check. All these different things matter. But the reality is, at the end of the day, you got to earn it. And that's why it's like, it is earned. You cannot shortcut this shit. Yeah. You have to earn it. And I mean, again, even when you and I just meeting for the first time, when you walk to the door, and I'm like, because I've seen you online, right? But to see in person, I'm like, respect. The dude works out. Yeah. There's just a different level of like, when you walk into a room, you just like, it's like the bro. Oh my, I see him, right? Or when someone when you shake someone's hand and they see your bicep vein, and it's like, that's just that's earned.
That. Yeah, we've lost that.
Yeah,
that's gone. People don't. I shook a dude's hand, and it was like shaking my little 2-year-old.
Yeah, it's like the dead fish is what I call it.
I'm like, my grandpa just rolled over in his grave when I shook your hand. Like, let's man up. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's time. We're losing. I got little kids. I'm leaving to this place, and I'm 53 years. How old are you?
I'm 48.
Okay. Remember the 80s?
Oh yeah. We grew up in those.
Yeah. That's when, people will pull over and you can get in a fist fight on State Street and have some fun. You know what I mean? Now it's just a soft ass world, man, we're in.
Yeah. If you call someone a name, you're going to get sued.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's over. It's over.
Anyway, dude, you and I love, as you guys can see, like, Jeff's got incredible energy and he's passionate about this, and which I love. And again, here's a man, 17 years, 18 years stuck in a cycle, and look at where he is today. His mess became his message, and even myself, like the whatever challenging thing you happen to be in, wherever you happen to be, that you feel stuck, if you're in an addictive cycle or pattern, trust me, like, you can get out of it, no matter how impossible it feels. Like, you've got 2 guys that are here, and there are millions of people that have done it. But on the flip side, there are tens of millions or hundreds of millions of people that are stuck. And get the help, get support, like, humble yourself, be a little bit vulnerable. And when you actually speak to it and just say, I need help, I mean, I'm telling you, that's the beginning. And when you can take radical accountability, it's painful, it's going to hurt, but trust me, it's temporary. And the freedom that comes from being able to take accountability, speak the truth, is priceless. So anyway, Jeff, thank you so much. And thank you for all of you. We'll see you guys next week on the Burn Up Podcast.